Roman Dolidze vs. Anthony Hernandez, numerology prediction and breakdown. At UFC Fight Night on August 9, 2025, the middleweight division gets an exciting clash of styles as Georgian powerhouse Roman Dolidze meets relentless American grinder Anthony "Fluffy" Hernandez. On a Universal Day 8, the energy is all about dominance, strength, and imposing your will, which makes this matchup a test of who can enforce their game plan first. Will Dolidze's raw power prevail, or will Hernandez's pressure and pace take over? Roman Dolidze record, 15-3. Born on July 15th and fighting out of Georgia, Roman Dolidze stands 6 feet 2 inches with a 76-inch reach, a physically imposing middleweight known for knockout power, slick grappling transitions, and a dangerous top game. Strengths: explosive striking and heavy ground and pound. Dangerous submissions in scrambles. Excellent physical strength and durability. Weaknesses: can be slowed by high pace and pressure. Sometimes waits too long to pull the trigger. Cardio can fade if forced into deep waters. Numerology edge: Roman's driver 6 brings balance, responsibility, and control, while his life path 3 favors expression and creativity. Good for explosive performances, but less consistent on demanding Universal Day 8 energy. The 6-3 combo doesn't naturally align with Day 8's rigid dominance, which may force Roman to fight outside his comfort zone. Path to victory: Dolidze must land big early, keep the fight at mid-range, hurt Hernandez on the entry, and capitalize on explosive moments to end it before Hernandez's relentless pace takes over. Anthony Hernandez record, 14-2. Born on October 18th and fighting out of the United States, Anthony "Fluffy" Hernandez stands 6 feet 0 inches with a 75-inch reach, a relentless, pressure-heavy fighter with excellent cardio, slick submission skills, and non-stop volume. Strengths: endless pace and pressure wrestling. High-level submission game and scrambles. Mentally tough, thrives in chaos. Weaknesses: striking lacks one-punch knockout power, can be hit clean on the way in. Relies on grinding pace to break opponents. Numerology edge: Anthony's driver 9 gives him emotional drive and endurance, while his life path 5 is about adaptability, freedom, and controlled chaos, an excellent combination for Universal Day 8, which rewards fighters who assert dominance with relentless effort. His numerology suggests a strong energy match, helping him thrive in grueling, high-pressure fights. Path to victory: Hernandez needs to push a fast pace, mix clinch work with takedowns, and force Dolidze to work constantly. If he drags this fight deep, his gas tank and pressure could overwhelm Roman. Final prediction: numerology meets technique. Roman Dolidze enters with knockout power and submission danger, but his 6-3 numerology is less aligned with Universal Day 8's demanding energy. Anthony Hernandez, with a 9-5 combination, thrives in high-pressure, dominance-driven environments, exactly what this day calls for. Technically, Dolidze is most dangerous early, but if Hernandez survives round 1, his pace, pressure, and numerological alignment favor him strongly. I'm expecting Anthony Hernandez wins via submission or late TKO. He survives the early storm, grinds Dolidze down, and imposes his will on a day built for relentless dominance. Steve Erceg vs. Osborne, numerology prediction and breakdown. At UFC Fight Night, Dolidze vs. Hernandez on August 9, 2025, flyweights collide as rising contender Steve Erceg faces the unpredictable Osborne. On a Universal Day 8, the energy favors dominance, control, and assertiveness. Fighters who can impose their will are most rewarded. Will Erceg's composure and technique shine, or will Osborne's speed and explosiveness break through? Steve Erceg record, 12-4. Born on July 27th and fighting out of Australia, Steve Erceg stands 5 feet 8 inches with a 68-inch reach, a calculated, technically sharp striker with solid grappling fundamentals and excellent composure under fire. Strengths: well-rounded skill set with balanced striking and grappling. Calm fight IQ and solid defensive awareness. Good cardio and measured pace. Weaknesses: not a heavy finisher, relies on decisions. Can be outpaced by explosive athletes. Sometimes too patient early in fights. Numerology edge: Erceg's driver 9 gives him passion and endurance, while his life path 5 adds adaptability and creativity. On a Universal Day 8, however, the 9-5 combination is less structured and may feel reactive rather than dominant, requiring him to stay disciplined and avoid getting drawn into chaos. His numerology suggests strength late, but vulnerability early if pressured hard. Path to victory: Erceg must control range, avoid early firefights, and mix striking with opportunistic grappling. If he drags the fight into later rounds, his calmness can take over. Osborne record, 13-8. Born on January 9th and fighting out of the United States, Osborne stands 5 feet 7 inches with a 73-inch reach, an explosive striker with long arms, excellent athleticism, and dangerous counters. Strengths: fast hands and sharp reflexes, strong finishing instinct when landing clean. Uses reach well for striking at range. Weaknesses: inconsistent output, tends to fade after fast starts, can be caught on the ground when taken down, sometimes reckless when chasing finishes. Numerology edge: Osborne's Driver 9 combined with his life path creates a mix of passion and structure, a combination that aligns better with the universal Day 8. His discipline 4 energy supports aggression in a controlled way, giving him the ability to press forward with authority while keeping composure. This numerology gives him an early fight edge, especially if he imposes pace immediately. Path to victory: Osborne should push the tempo from round 1, use his length and speed to catch Erceg before he settles, and keep the fight standing where his athletic edge is clearest. Final prediction: numerology meets technique. Both fighters share Driver 9 passion and grit, but Osborne's life path 4 syncs with the universal Day 8's demand for dominance and structured aggression. Erceg's life path 5 is more reactive, meaning he thrives in adaptation, not dictation. If Osborne starts fast and dictates range, numerology and style both point to him taking control. I'm expecting Osborne wins via KO/TKO. His speed, reach, and aggressive rhythm, matched with favorable numerology, give him the tools to hand Erceg a rare setback. Yasmin Lucindo vs. Angela Hill. Strawweight fireworks are expected on August 9, 2025, as Brazil's rising phenom Yasmin Lucindo takes on seasoned veteran Angela Hill in a classic youth versus experience matchup. With both fighters hungry for a statement win, this one could steal the show. Let's break it down through strengths, styles, and of course, numerology. Yasmin Lucindo record 17-6. Born on January 8, 2002, and fighting out of Fortaleza, Brazil, Yasmin Lucindo is a 5 feet 3 inches powerhouse with a 66-inch reach. A high-pressure striker with youthful speed and an iron will, Lucindo loves to walk opponents down with volume and aggression. Strengths: youthful explosiveness with improving grappling, heavy pressure and solid cardio, durable with fearless forward movement. Weaknesses: still evolving her fight IQ, can get wild in exchanges, sometimes leaves herself open on entries. Numerology edge: Lucindo's chart shows a fighter entering her universal year 8 and fighting on a universal day 8, creating a strong energy alignment. With her driver 8, she naturally resonates with this day's power-based frequency. The 4 life path indicates discipline and structure, perfect for executing a pressure-heavy strategy. Path to victory: to win, Lucindo must push the pace early, mix in takedowns, and avoid prolonged striking exchanges where Hill thrives. Her edge lies in forward movement and imposing youth and physicality. Angela Hill, record 18-14. Born on January 12 and fighting out of San Diego, California, Angela Hill stands 5 feet 3 inches with a 64.5-inch reach. A Muay Thai technician with slick footwork and octagon experience, Hill has faced the who's who of the division and knows how to handle pressure. Strengths: vast UFC experience and top-tier fight IQ. Clean technical striking, especially in the clinch. Mentally tough and cardio-heavy fighter. Weaknesses: vulnerable to takedowns and control time, often in close decisions due to low finishing rate. Wear and tear from a long career. Numerology edge: Angela Hill enters this bout with a life path 9, giving her leadership and self-determined strength, but her personal day 4 could bring friction, especially facing a life path for opponent like Lucindo, who is naturally in sync with the day's energy. Hill's driver 3 favors creativity, but on a universal 8 day, this may clash with the demand for raw power and discipline. Path to victory: Hill must stay composed under pressure, keep the fight at range, and use angles to frustrate Lucindo's forward momentum. If she can avoid takedowns and pick her shots, she can edge out rounds on the scorecards. Final prediction: numerology meets technique. This fight lines up heavily in favor of Yasmin Lucindo from a numerological and stylistic perspective. Fighting on an 8 day with an 8 driver during her own 8 personal year gives her a triple power activation. Add in youth, physicality, and stylistic momentum, and this may be the night Lucindo gets her signature win. Angela Hill's experience is undeniable, and she always shows up to scrap, but the numbers and trajectory lean toward the new guard. I'm expecting Yasmin Lucindo to win via decision. Fili vs. Christian Rodriguez, numerology prediction and breakdown. At UFC Fight Night on August 9, 2025, featherweights clash as the dynamic Fili takes on the disciplined Christian Rodriguez. On a universal day 8, the energy demands power, control, and dominance. Fighters who can impose there will thrive. Will Fili's unpredictable striking overwhelm Rodriguez, or will Rod's relentless grappling grind out a victory? Fili record 24-12. Born on June 25, 1990, fighting out of Sacramento, California, Fili stands 5 feet 11 inches with a 74-inch reach, a fluid, creative striker with underrated grappling and explosive bursts. Strengths: dynamic striking with diverse kicks and combinations. Strong clinch work and underrated submission threat. High fight IQ, adapts well mid-fight. Weaknesses: can be inconsistent in output. Sometimes struggles against pressure grapplers. Tends to lose close decisions. Numerology edge: Fili's life path 5 makes him adaptable and unpredictable, while his expression 6 gives him strategic depth. However, on a universal day 8, his free-flowing style may struggle against Rodriguez's structured aggression. His numerology suggests he must stay disciplined early. If he gets drawn into a brawl, Rodriguez's control could take over. Path to victory: Fili must use his range, stay mobile, and avoid prolonged grappling exchanges. If he keeps Rodriguez guessing with feints and angles, he can outwork him on the feet. Christian Rodriguez, record, 12-3. Born on December 17, 1997, fighting out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Rodriguez stands 5 feet 8 inches with a 68-inch reach, a relentless grappler with improving striking and suffocating top control. Strengths: strong wrestling and submission grappling. Heavy top pressure and cardio. Intelligent pace setting wears opponents down. Weaknesses: striking is still developing. Can be outworked by faster starters. Sometimes struggles against rangy strikers. Numerology edge: Rodriguez's life path 1 aligns perfectly with Universal Day 8's dominant energy, giving him the mental edge to impose his game. His expression 4 reinforces his disciplined, grinding style, ideal for breaking Fili's rhythm. This numerology suggests he will control the fight if he gets it to the mat early. Path to victory: Rodriguez must close distance, chain takedowns, and smother Fili with pressure. If he drags the fight into deep waters, his cardio and control will shine. Final prediction: numerology meets technique. Fili's life path 5 thrives on chaos, but day 8 rewards control. Rodriguez's life path 1 and expression 4 are built for this energy. If Rodriguez imposes his grappling early, he can neutralize Fili's movement and grind him down. If Fili keeps it standing, his striking variety could steal rounds. But numerology favors structure over adaptability here. Christian Rodriguez by decision. His pressure and grappling will be the difference. I'm expecting Christian Rodriguez to win inside distance. Miles Johns vs. Gene Matsumoto, numerology prediction and breakdown. At UFC Fight Night on August 9th, bantamweights collide as the gritty Miles Johns takes on the rising prospect Gene Matsumoto. On a universal day 8, the cosmic energy favors power, control, and decisive action. Fighters who can impose their will may find extra strength. Will Johns' wrestling-heavy approach smother Matsumoto, or will the Brazilian's slick jiu-jitsu secure another submission? Miles Johns, record, 15-3. Born March 30th, 1994, fighting out of Dallas, Texas, Johns stands 5 feet 7 inches with a 68-inch reach, a powerful wrestler with improving striking and relentless top pressure. Strengths: NCAA Division I wrestling pedigree. Heavy top control and ground and pound. Solid defensive grappling. Good cardio for a grinder. Weaknesses: striking remains basic. Can be too reliant on takedowns. Sometimes struggles against elite submission artists. Numerology edge: John's life path 11 gives him intuitive fighting instincts, but can make him emotionally vulnerable. His personal year 7 in 2025 suggests a technical, research-heavy camp. On Universal Day 8, his wrestling-heavy style aligns well with the controlling energy. Path to victory: Johns must close distance immediately, chain wrestle, and avoid Matsumoto's guard. If he can maintain top position, his grinding style could earn a decision. Gene Matsumoto, record, 16-1. Born September 9, 1999, fighting out of Sao Paulo, Brazil, Matsumoto stands 5 feet 6 inches with a 67-inch reach, a submission specialist with slick transitions and dangerous guard play. Strengths: world-class Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Excellent submission chains. Good scrambles and guard retention. Underrated striking for a grappler. Weaknesses: still developing wrestling defense. Can be too willing to play guard. Untested against elite wrestlers. Numerology edge: Matsumoto's life path 1, 9 plus 9 plus 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 equals 46101, gives him natural leadership and confidence. His personal year 8 in 2025 perfectly matches the Universal Day 8, suggesting peak performance potential for this fight. This rare alignment indicates he may overperform expectations. Path to victory: Matsumoto should use footwork to stay at range early, then threaten submissions off any takedown attempts. If he can drag Johns into deep water, his jiu-jitsu could shine. Final prediction: numerology meets technique. John's life path 11 gives him warrior spirit but emotional volatility, while Matsumoto's life path 1 aligns perfectly with Day 8's dominant energy. If John's imposes his wrestling early, he could grind out rounds. If Matsumoto survives early pressure, his submission game becomes dangerous. The numbers suggest Matsumoto's perfect numerology alignment may overcome John's experience edge. Look for Matsumoto to find a submission when John's tires from wrestling pressure. I'm expecting Gene Matsumoto to win via late submission. Erceg versus Christian Leroy Duncan, numerology prediction and breakdown. At UFC Fight Night on August 9th, middleweights collide as the powerful Erceg takes on the technical Christian Leroy Duncan. On a universal Day 8, the energy demands dominance, control, and decisive action. Fighters who can impose their will may find extra strength. Will Anders' raw knockout power overwhelm Duncan, or will CLD's precision striking and movement pick apart the veteran? Erceg, record 17-8. Born on April 21, 1987, fighting out of Birmingham, Alabama, Anders stands 6 feet 1 inch with a 75-inch reach, a former college football player turned knockout artist with heavy hands and strong wrestling. Strengths: devastating left hand with one-punch KO power. Strong clinch work and wrestling base. Incredible durability, never been finished by strikes. Experience against top-level competition. Weaknesses: tends to fade in later rounds. Struggles with mobile, technical strikers. Predictable forward pressure. Numerology edge. Anders' life path 5 makes him dangerously unpredictable but inconsistent. His 2025 personal year 3 suggests creativity but lacks the structure of Day 8's controlling energy. He'll need to impose his power early before fatigue sets in. Path to victory. Anders must cut off the cage, land his left hand in exchanges, and mix in takedowns to disrupt Duncan's rhythm. A first-round knockout is his best path. Christian Leroy Duncan, record 11-2. Born on July 24, 1995, fighting out of Gloucester, England, Duncan stands 6 feet 2 inches with a 79-inch reach, a slick kickboxer with excellent movement and underrated grappling skills. Strengths: elite footwork and angles. Diverse kicking game, head kicks, body kicks. Solid submission skills off his back. Excellent fight IQ and pacing. Weaknesses: untested against elite wrestlers. Can be too patient at times. Occasionally leaves chin exposed. Numerology edge. Duncan's life path 1 gives him natural leadership and thrives under pressure. His 2025 personal year 6 brings discipline, perfectly aligning with Day 8's structured dominance. This suggests he may overperform expectations. Path to victory. Duncan should use lateral movement, attack Anders' legs/body, and counter when Anders overcommits. If he survives early, his technique will take over. Final prediction: numerology meets technique. Anders' life path 5 makes him dangerous but inconsistent, while Duncan's life path 1 aligns perfectly with Day 8's dominant energy. If Anders lands early, he could score a brutal KO. If Duncan survives the storm, his technique and cardio will shine. The numbers favor structure over explosiveness here. I'm expecting Christian Leroy Duncan to win by TKO round 3. His movement and precision will break Anders down as the fight progresses.